What is up, guys, and welcome to another video. And this one I decided to do another sort of anti-Hwoarang video because you guys seemed to like the last one and it helped out a lot of people, so I thought I'd do another one. And this one focused more around general ways to approach Hwoarang's Flamingo stance. It's a very tricky stance and it's something that people don't really know how to approach, and they might just start mashing and dick jabbing, and those options are not great. Before I do that, I want to sort of address something from the last video about anti-Hwoarang. And you know, a lot of people like putting in their opinions and 2 cents and whatever, and that's fine. I enjoy discussions in the comments. I like having debates with people, but I just like to quickly throw out something here. I've been playing this character for over 2 years at a very high level now. I've played some of the best players in Europe. I've beaten some of the best players in Europe. When I say certain things, I know what I'm talking about. I just needed to quickly throw that out there because a lot of people were saying some very silly things in the comments, and I just felt like it's necessary to just talk about where I'm coming from before we get into this. So first off, I want to show you why certain things are not good options to deal with Hwoarang's Flamingo stance. One thing a lot of people like to do is just dick jab. Because you know, once he gets into the pressure and gets in your face, dick jab is what most people do to stop the pressure, and dick jabbing is never really a great option in this game. One thing about dick jabbing is it's sort of, I remember a while ago, I think Gosane said that dick jabbing just shows that you don't know your defensive option to deal with something else, and it does work for a while, and there are some lower level Hwoarang players who have no idea how to deal with that. But the reason why it's not that great in this game is because, especially in left one in general, it's not that great against Hwoarang, is because in left Flamingo stance he has 2 low crushing launchers that will immediately deal with dick jabbing, and that is LFS up forward 4 and then hunting hawk. Both of those low crush instantly, so if you go and he does on that 1 2 3 and you dick jab, both of those moves will crush the dick jab, and Hwoarang gets a full launch on you. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what you should do to deal with Flamingo, instead of, you know, just telling you what not to do. So one thing you might have heard quite a few times, something I say a lot, is you should always be stepping Hwoarang to the way his stomach is facing. So he switches stance quite a few times and he has 2 Flamingo stance both in different ways, and it's important to, you know, keep an eye on the stomach in which way you should be stepping. And I showed a little example of that in the last video, where, you know, I showed you could evade some right Flamingo options by stepping to the right and the left Flamingo options in left Flamingo stance, but I just want to expand on that a bit now. So in left Flamingo, a lot of his things linear and don't really track to the left. So your best bet is to go to the left against most of his key options in left Flamingo. For example, his 3 forward. If you just step left and he keeps doing that, you miss the second one. And even if you aren't looking to move, another way to beat that is just interrupt. After LFS 3 forward, Hwoarang has basically given up his turn, and the only thing he can really do is jab. You can see there's only +2. Hwoarang has no guaranteed follow-up. That he has nothing that will be guaranteed if you just jab first, because it's only +2, meaning your jab will always win, and you can get a nice at least 11 frame move on that if they do spam that LFS forward 3. But even so, that move itself very weak to the left. Same with his jab. Just go to the left. So if he does that, and the quickest way out of Flamingo is to jab. And you see here that if you do find yourself in that situation where he's just trying to do stuff, just a quick step to the left beats it. A quick step to the left beats it. I wasn't stepping properly there. And you probably won't be able to launch simply because of the recovery on the jab. But you could get a nice jab punish or something, maybe 11 or 12 frames, depending on your character. And the biggest move out of LFS is the up forward 4, which I'm not doing a good job of stepping right now at all, but there we go. Very poor tracking close range to the left, and even around here, the same thing, just a nice side step beats the option, and in this position everyone will have the chance to launch. And as I showed in the last video, the only move he has that's really going to track you is the back 4. You can see that is the counter hit launcher. So while I was editing, I realized that I forgot a move. His LFS down back 4 actually will track you to the left. It is probably the best tracking move in that stance. You know, +4 and hit, very important. To the right, the right is technically its weak side, but you have to put in a very big step and very early if you do want to evade it. So my best bet with dealing with LFS left flamingo stance is just sidestep block. Sorry, sidestep block, sidestep duck. And that does deal with most of the options. Back to the video. You can actually move that to the right if I do it correctly. You can go to the right on it, but that's making a read. So I don't really recommend moving to the right against Hwoarang in left flamingo stance, simply because he does the biggest option out of it is that move there. And if you do move to the right, you can see his tracking is very good that way, but to the left is where it's very poor. So that's the main reason you want to be going to the left in left flamingo stance. And as I showed in the other video, side walking to the right is really what you want to do against right flamingo stance, because his best options do track that way. You know, if you go to the left, well, its tracking isn't great, but if you mistime it going to the left, you can get clipped by it like you showed there. But that's never going to happen if you're going to the right. And the same with the slash kick as well. Same thing there, the same logic applies. Just a nice step. You can even do it on just 2 jab into it. Same thing applies there. And now another thing I really want to touch on is the things that Hwoarang does in Flamingo that's really fake. There's a lot of fake things that people just accept in Flamingo. They just treat like they have to deal with it, and a lot of times just 1-2 into down 3-4 and stuff like that, like 1-2 on block into pressure, and that is not a thing. The thing about wrong option. The thing about just doing 1-2 into Flamingo is Hwoarang, you can't do that. You can interrupt, and if he even goes to the down 3-4, you can easily move around it. There's so many options you have in this position. You know, once Hwoarang does 1-2-3 into Flamingo, there's nothing he can do that your option won't beat. Obviously, if he does 1-2, for example, I was doing Hwoarang's 2 forward 4 there. That is guaranteed on counter hit. Because if Hwoarang did any move there, that's my counter hit's gonna get there first, and I'm gonna get the move. But you know, if Hwoarang does 1-2 into an empty Flamingo, you know, that's not going to be guaranteed. Obviously it hits on the bot because the bot's not blocking. That's not guaranteed. The only thing Hwoarang will have to challenge you if he does do 1-2 Flamingo, if he does 1-2-4 into flappy kicks. Because if he does 1-2-4 into forward 4, that's gonna counter hit you all the time. You know, that will counter hit you all the time, and there's literally nothing for you to interrupt that. Hi there, me again. Once again, I forgot something. So if Hwoarang does do 1-2-3-1, your jabs will trade. That is the only thing. The only option that Hwoarang has, once he goes into left Flamingo, the only thing he can do once he gets into left Flamingo is jab, obviously. But like I said earlier, side walk, side step left is your best friend there anyway. You're going to be evading that. And the thing about doing that there is it does cover both of those options. Just side walking like I'm showing there. Just side walking will be both options there. So obviously the jab is annoying and that's something to watch out for, but side walking, side stepping, you're beating both options, or side walking, you're beating both options there. Once again, back to the video. But just watch out for those certain things. Obviously in right Flamingo, you do have to be careful because the flappy kicks will catch you and counter hit you for that. So just a few things to also watch out for as well is, if I show you on block here, Hwoarang's left Flamingo jab is +5 on block, you see there. And the reason is for that is it gives Hwoarang a safe way to get out of Flamingo and, you know, just not completely give up his turn. And it also as well, there are a lot of setups off that because, you know, Hwoarang has frame traps off that. So a very common thing I like to do just to test people who know the matchup is I'll do 1-2-3-1 into forward 1+2, because if they do push a button on that, so if they push a button on that at all, oh, that's the wrong option. See, I always select the wrong option. If they do push a button on that, counter it. So that's a very common setup you could see online. So just remember that Flamingo jab is +5 on block and +5 on block, +7 on hit. But it does come out in 13 frames simply because it's his safest way to get out of Flamingo. And they do have very good whiff recovery as well. So all jabs have good whiff recovery, but you know, it's not really something you want to be trying to launch if you whiff punish. It's something I've died for myself, and I had to learn over time. And that's basically really it when it comes down to dealing with Flamingo. It is difficult playing against Hwoarang. I've said this multiple times. But 1-2-3 on block, there's nothing Hwoarang can really do that you're not going to get there first for. Obviously, you have to watch out for 1, 2, 4, and that just comes down with the muscle memory, the recognizing the character playing, like seeing it so many times you can recognize the animation. It is very difficult, trust me, but I think, you know, you do have opportunities to challenge there if you are smart with it. But either way, 1, 2 on block into Flamingo is not real, and it is something people will need to start disrespecting in the future, I believe. Obviously, it also comes down to knowing the person you're playing against and knowing the flow of the game as well, because if they are doing a lot of 1, 2, 3 on block and you're interrupting, eventually in the game they will pull out the 1, 2, 4 into flat B kicks and launch you. So just be aware when you're playing against the character, against Flamingo's stance, and yeah, just keep that all in mind. And I hope you'll have a much better time playing against Hwoarang, because the less people that complain about him, the nicer my life becomes, because the less of the same stuff I have to hear over and over again. So thank you for checking out this video. Please like if it helped you out, you know, comment and subscribe. Follow me on Twitch, link in the description, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.